Welcome back now. It doesn't feel good.
I doesn't feel right, does it? I was ready for it. Welcome back to another episode of the Murph and Mitise show.
In this next song, you must march around the room. Here we go.
Hey, I know what the fuck I'm doing. Just sit down in the chair.
What's been happening, man? Let's get straight into it. There's so much to talk about.
It's been a good week since we spoke. We had a bit of a week off last week from our show.
Technically, we did. We put one up though.
We did. We got the new release up.
What's up, man?
So you just,
hopefully, you guys like the new release as well.
Yeah, the credit to the DJ for the music. Mm-hmm. This guy right here. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I reckon it's pretty cool.
I think it's sick.
It does. It definitely feels new. It feels cool. It feels refurbished and fresh and
refurbished.
We have a refurbished podcast. Feels fresh. No, it's exciting. It's, you know, like when you get a new car.
Yep.
You jump in a new car, you feel
and
good.
Smells good.
It feels like a new car.
Yeah,
it smells
does.
good.
It feels and smells really good.
It does. No, so it's been a good week. I got to experience a new type of athlete this week. New type of athlete. So obviously everyone knows I'm well known in the basketball world and coaching those kind of athletes in S&C. This week I went out and spent some time with Tennis Australia.
You did.
I did.
You did.
I did.
How'd that start? Like, talk to us about it.
Well, obviously started because I'm looking for a new position in pro sport and because of the 36ers gig. So with COVID going on, there's not a lot around. Bloody COVID. So Tennis Australia put up a position and I applied for that. Going through the process of that, found out that COVID actually squashed that position as well.
Yep.
Motherfucker. So COVID has ruined that one as well. But I stayed in touch with the guys and had a meeting with them. They liked what I was doing and what I was talking about, what I'm about. So they invited me out for a bit of time with the kids anyway, and just getting experience on how they run things and getting experience with their athletes. So I went out for a session this week, spent about an hour and a half with the kids there. And I say kids, but they are like 16 to 18 year olds. So we'll say solid teenagers, not really kids.
They're progressed.
They're progressed. They're past puberty.
They're evolved children.
Yes, evolved children. So I spent some time with them and put them through their paces, and they were really good. One thing they did tell me beforehand, I've spoken to a few TA guys around.
Is that Tennis Australia lingo?
Yeah.
I see it.
In the group already.
Shit.
And pushing out the jargon. Spoke to a few TA guys already, and they said, look, tennis athletes, from our experience so far, you can just push them, and they're very resilient. For whatever reason, I don't know why. Probably because he said the main reason he thinks is because normally tennis you start really, really young.
Okay.
So typically for an elite tennis player, like borderline pro to pro tennis player, these kids have been going since they were like 3-4 years old.
Okay.
Starting hitting balls. So they're developed from back then. So they've built their resiliency from that point. So I'm like, okay, let's see what these kids can do. And I didn't push them like
Murph
to the push.
Yeah.
But I thought I'm going to give them something to see how they handle it. And they destroyed it. They went really well. They complained like you expect a teenager to do. But they complained while they were working really hard. So it was good fun. I actually quite enjoyed it. It's good to be on a different court. Yep. Basketball court to a tennis court.
I see what you did there as well. That was a good one.
It was good just like, obviously outdoors. I was fucking freezing.
Yep.
So me being an indoor sport for the last 4 years, stepping on an outdoor court, I'm like, it's funny, I rock up and the S&C who's already there walks up and he's in like just a hoodie and shorts.
Yep.
It's like 12 degrees outside. It was a rainy day. So I rock up, I'm in like my beanie, I've got a hoodie on, trackies on, obviously shoes on, and a thermal vest on top of that. I rock up with my hands in my pocket like, hey, go man. He's like, how you doing? I'm like, dude, it's fucking freezing out here. What are you doing in shorts? He's like, it's an outdoor sport. This is... Yeah, okay, you can tell I've been locked inside for 4 years.
I still, like, footy is very traditional shorts when you go out.
Yeah.
I wore pants all through winter.
Yeah, okay.
No, absolutely.
Maybe because we're in gyms so much as well. Like, we're gym people. We're inside indoor gym. I don't know. But,
maybe.
Yeah, I was rugged up. Like,
can you run through what you did then?
Yeah, so I was already given the task to take them through. It was a conditioning agility day.
Okay.
So that was their task today, and they did some lifting afterwards with the S&C they've got already.
Yep.
So they said, look, we want you to do a 30-minute block of agility conditioning stuff. And notice I didn't use any ladders in my agility session.
I saw little cheeky little...
Yeah.
A little sentence you put in your caption there.
My first thought was, agility, should I bring out some ladders? And I thought, don't be a dickhead.
Yeah.
So I did.
That should be what you're taught in the courses. All right. If you think this, then think this.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So I didn't bring them out, and I just did some reactive agility training.
Okay.
So I took an idea that I learnt from the Crows when I was working with them, from Jordan Seller, who gave me an idea where basically it's you got competition, which is great for athletes. They love to compete against each other. So two athletes at the baseline, they run through some cones. As they approach the cones, you get another color cone, and they've both got to run to it, and first one to pick it up wins.
So the next colour cones are past the gates.
Past the gates.
Okay, so they run through the gates, and then there's yep.
I yell it out, and there's a range of cones. For this one, we just had two different colours. They just split off either way. First one to pick up the cone wins.
Yep.
That was one of the drills we did, and I did just a couple of basketball specific, like shadowing, defensive slide drills, and
basketball specific or tennis specific or both.
They said bring in some basketball stuff.
Okay, cool.
Just to bring in something different, so it's not always tennis. They want a bit of like cross training style stuff. So they said bring in some of your basketball drills that you would have done with your boys. So I did some of that. So I did some tennis things I thought would be good for them, and then basketball stuff just to mix it up a little bit for them. And then I just destroyed them at the end with a good solid Tabata interval session. Just to make sure they walk away feeling like they've had a good workout. And it was good. They did really well. They enjoyed it. The coaches were happy because they could see them punished.
Punished?
Punished.
I don't like that word,
You don't like the word?
I fucking hate that word.
It's contextual though.
Oh, okay.
It's not punished for being bad. It's just punished like in a good way punished.
Okay. I don't like it. I don't like the word.
I was going to go into something else then, but I'm not going to do it.
Don't do it. Leave that for later. Yeah.
How about yourself?
I was going to keep going with the tennis stuff because I saw some shit.
Oh, okay. Bring on the tennis stuff.
I saw some shit.
Oh, yeah, okay. Bring that in.
Well, after your tennis post, because you put it on your Instagram, which was sick, I think I went through like some hashtags or whatever was put on there. Somehow I found myself looking up like tennis coaching, like conditioning coaching and agility coaching and stuff, and I found some crap that I really didn't fucking like.
Tell us about it.
Well, it was like someone had thought of something, all right, and they're like, this will look good, and I'm going to tell people here's why we're doing it. But then when you look at it, what they're actually doing...
When you look at it or when they looked at it?
Oh, I'm sure when they looked at it, they loved it.
Okay.
But when I looked at it, I was like, what you're saying you're doing is not what you're actually doing. You know, it was just on the agility thing. You know, if you've got predetermined paths and you've got, you know, a predictable outcome or a predictable event occurring, whether it's like swinging a ball around or going through cones in certain ways or ladders or whatever, that's not agility training, and it's not training footwork.
Yeah.
And it's not training bounce and ability. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, on that,
yeah,
I had a bit of a discussion with someone on Instagram who decided to message me.
I love this.
About, so I put up something, I've done it a little bit lately, and I brought it up today already.
Yep.
Ladders.
Yes, you have. Done a little bit.
They are not agility.
Oh, yes, this, go.
They are not agility. Ladders do not equate to agility. Purely because the word you said before, predetermined.
No.
2 words, predetermined.
No.
Okay, is that 1 word or 2 words?
You know what? It's a
one
hyphen.
word.
It's a
Yes,
hyphen.
okay.
It's 1 word.
So because of that, ladders are not agility. Unless you start throwing balls at someone while they're on the ladder, which is not good because they're normally looking down at the floor. Okay, it's not agility training.
No.
This person was adamant. Yes, it does improve agility.
No.
Going on the basis that it improves foot speed. And I said, okay, yes, it may improve foot speed because you get better at doing the same thing over and over again. So if I got you to run straight line, eventually you'd start running that straight line faster because your body adapts to it and it can start pushing harder. Okay. Yes, you will get faster feet on the ladder if you continually do the ladder. But does it equate to agility, which is reactive based? So if all of a sudden I say, okay, you're no longer allowed to look at the ladder, you look up, okay, maybe a defensive player, and then whenever I say to do something, you're going to do that thing like instantly, and you're going to have that same foot speed. And they just couldn't quite understand that, no, you wouldn't.
No.
Going on about, even if it improves at 0.0000001%, it improves. Like, well, if that's all the gains you're getting from a ladder, you could be spending that time doing something else that's actually agility and get maybe a 1% gain.
Correct.
Much, much, much better.
Yeah.
They do not improve agility.
Yeah.
I don't know how I can stress this anymore. It does not, and any good strength coach, I've seen a lot of them, I've shared a lot of their posts, guys in America, guys in Australia, this guy next to me, they all say the same thing, that ladders are useless for agility itself.
I think that the idea here is not necessarily the equipment, because you can talk about anything.
Yes.
It's the fundamental physiology behind it. That's all.
Yes.
Really, what we're trying to look at is.
I'm picking on the equipment because that's what constantly keeps coming up.
I can feel your energy. It's
yes.
coming. It's
Yes.
hit me hard. It's good.
Um,
I don't get this much.
So you can use our ladders for agility, but what we keep seeing isn't being used for agility.
It's not going to help benefit the person when you can invest other things into it. Yeah.
Exactly right.
And that's the thing. Understand the physiology behind it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that I was thinking of when I saw the tennis stuff. I was like, okay. So what I then concluded was I think it would be fantastic if you end up getting into tennis, because I think you could really add development and layers to what I'm seeing out there from private coaching. I don't know anything about the organizations, but like from the private coaching perspective and from an S&C perspective and from a physiological development perspective, I feel like you've got a lot to offer for tennis players. Just a little plug there. But that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. I know what you're doing. It's very different to what I'm seeing. I don't know if the coaches I'm looking at are well known in the tennis in Adelaide, or if they're just some random hashtag. You know what I mean? I don't know what it was, but I was just like, that there from what I'm seeing is not what needs to be done. Yeah. And I feel there's a lot more development that can be done.
At the end of the day, as you said in the beginning of this little conversation, you said it's going to look good on Instagram. It's going to look good on video, and that's why too many people do that sort of stuff, is because it's going to look good. Sometimes some of the pictures I post on Instagram don't look that good. They're not that impressive. And my phone is very good, so it's not the phone. It's just the exercises aren't that sexy. But when you talk about why you do them, the explanation behind the physiology, the biomechanics of it all, if you can understand that, and you understand the benefit and the crossover for that, now it becomes sexy.
Correct.
That could just be us nerding out on what we love. And it most likely is that. But I don't know, I like to put my things in layman's terms, understandable terms, where anyone can read it and go, okay, then it starts to make sense. Yeah. I
was going to say, great segue as well.
Do you like that?
I like that. Because that's what my week was about, right? So we finished up with Woodville, SANFLW Women's, last Saturday. Not Saturday just gone, Saturday before that, right? Whatever date this is, we release it. And so during the week, I wanted to get my stats on injuries this year, performance this year. We won the last game, which was fantastic. But the follow-up from that, which I think I mentioned last episode, but the follow-up from that was like, okay, well, how actually did we do in regards to injury performance? Because that's what I want to see. And we went through, I talked to the team manager, and I said, do the physios have any data? And she goes, I don't think they did take any data, but we'll go from games missed due to injury. And we eliminated all the ones that were things like, trauma issues. You were tackled or you twisted on something wrong. External force, that kind of stuff. And unpreventable, preventable soft tissues, zero. Whole season.
Not at all.
No games missed.
Wow.
Brilliant. All right. And thank you for that. So that's 2 teams in 2 years now, with White City last year and Eagles this year. From the process that I've implemented, we've managed to maintain that. It was tough. We did have injuries. Don't get me wrong, but from things that were preventable from our perspective, if you've got a quad strain and then you go for a run, well, we told you not to go for a run. Not do the extra stuff. So, so that kind of shit.
What are three main things you'd attribute that to?
In regards to
your training, what are
my
three
knowledge,
things?
my experience, and my directional output.
Of course, not what I'm talking about. What are 3 things you would implement into your programs that you believe that would attribute to
on the 26th of November last year?
Wow, I didn't expect that specific.
Very specific. I put a post out, right? Because I remember putting the post out, right? And I put it out there as like, here's what we're gonna be doing, or not. Here's what we're not gonna be doing in training this year, and we're gonna see.
Was it ladders?
No, it wasn't ladders. It wasn't ladders. It wasn't ladders, but it had to be like a 4th thing. So what I put in, and I screenshot it because I was going to put it up. I haven't put the post up yet. I'll probably have the post up by the time this episode goes out. But about, here's basically what you just said. Here's what I attribute it to, Externally, the I want to say accountability. It's not accountability. But the girls to buy in for the program, you know, so they did buy into what I was doing. I was provided the free reign to be able to be like, cool, I need half an hour before we start. I need them in the gym. I need this stuff. So externally, I got the buy-in. From my perspective, the things that I did, and I believe we mentioned last year with White City, I did the same thing. So I took out squats, any squats in the program, pre-season.
So no
onwards.
squats whatsoever?
We did not one squat.
Barbell?
Not one squat.
No squats.
Not one bodyweight squat.
Bulgarian?
That's not a squat. I call that a split squat. All right, I'll get into that. Okay, so not one bilateral squat.
Okay, cool.
Okay, not one bilateral squat like a traditional squat. No leg swings. All right, eliminated leg swings.
What?
Yeah, what? It's great. And what's the third one? No squatting, no leg swings, and the last one was something else. And I cannot remember what was on this post. Anyway, so the main things that I wanted to look at was the physiology behind preventing injury and enabling the bodies to adapt to unstable unilateral loading, which is what they're going to be getting in the games. All right. So strength underpins everything. Okay, and so I needed to make sure that they had the strength, but also had the stiffness of the muscles to be able to be elastic enough that when they're put under like sprint load or like bounce, think of bouncy, change of direction, they've got the required stiffness in the muscle that it can contract and relax quickly without having to be over tight and then leading to injury. So what I basically did was those things. I'm going to get my phone out because I'm going to find this third thing. Cool. This third thing that I bloody screenshotted. It was here, where was it? The 26 screenshots. I've never done this before, so this is the phone on the phone. This is crazy. Tell me I've got it.
So when you say your strength underpins everything...
I took it off my phone. God damn it. All right.
When you say strength underpins everything, do you mean like complete total body strength? Do you mean more anterior or posterior chain, more obliques, slings?
I focused on what was required for the sport that I was programming for.
Whoa.
Right?
Wait, let that sink in for a sec.
I focused on what was required for the sport that I was programming for.
Wow. Cool. Continue.
Cool. So basically, to answer that question, I focused on lateral sling. I focused on posterior sling or posterior chain strength and lower body strength in particular. So hamstrings and glutes. Okay. Now, I took out squats because I was like, as we mentioned before with the ladders, I feel like there were far better exercises I could utilize, particularly in a superset kind of setup. At the beginning, obviously the programming changed throughout the year, but the fundamentals were the same, you know. And so took out squats, I put in split squats, okay, from the beginning, which is more like, if you imagine it like a lunge, all right, but you're not dynamic, you're not moving.
Yep.
Okay, so split squats, because you do...
Well, you're moving, you're just not...
You're moving up and down, you're not traveling. You're not traveling. Because with that, you're going to get a lot more unilateral like loading, right? So you've got front leg, back leg, depending on where you load, where you tip from the hips, whatever, that was acute in sessions.
Do you do that for the benefit of imbalances or?
Both. So ideally to iron out any imbalances, so I can look at in particular, and this was, I was training Em as well to look at when she would take gym sessions for the girls Tuesday nights through season, was that we're looking at the hip level, right? As you're going to do, hip level and rotation as you're going to do the exercise. So making sure that even though you're off balance or unilaterally loaded, all right, once again there's a discussion on that, but I still class it unilaterally loaded, you're going to get this little hip shift or hip dip, all right, if you're not stable. So the idea is keep the hips the same as you do it, so we're focusing on that.
What's your cue for that?
What do you mean?
What's your cue? So if someone's got their left leg forward, right leg up on
and the right hip dropping down,
the right hip drop,
keep the hips even.
Cool. Do you find that works?
Yeah. Almost all the time. I'll use your palpate. I'll say like this. So what's happening here? This here is dropping here.
Yep.
I want it here the whole time, and they can usually go, oh yeah, cool. Hike the hip, keep it there, and we go. Yeah,
that's the term I use, is hike your hip up. So left leg forward, or I say normally drive your right hip up as you lower down through your left.
Yeah.
Because remember how you actually gave me this tip in the depth drops or box drops.
Yep.
As you land on your left leg, make sure you lift the opposite hip up.
Yep.
And all of a sudden it stabilises the knee.
Correct.
So I've been bringing that into pretty much any kind of unilateral stuff I do, is drive the opposite hip up to stabilise the opposite.
I feel like this is like compliment central today. Thank you. Both of us, gone both ways, throwing the love. So I found that works. So, and the other reason I do that is that it also requires a lot more oblique stability.
Yep.
To be able to keep that there, right?
Yep.
So now, rather than just getting a bracing mechanism if we're doing a squat, we're actually getting oblique stability as well, which is what I want to work on when we're looking at lateral slings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's basically what I did there. So that's why I took out squats, because there are other exercises that I can implement in that are going to get, that I thought were going to get better results, which I have got. In saying that, I haven't had a control group to be able to be like, we're doing heaps of squats and see what happens. But that's my personal preference. Leg swings in particular were a massive one, because what was really interesting, I shouldn't laugh, but it was kind of ironic, is that during one of our last games, we were playing with the girls, we were playing one of the teams, and it was like half time, and we'd just done our like on-field warm-up to come back into third quarter. And the girls know that I don't like leg swings, and I banned them from the beginning of pre-season. I don't want to see them ever done. We do other type of hamstring stretching and mobility work, but we don't do that. And the other team was doing their warm-up to come in, and they were doing a whole bunch of leg swings, right? And they're all in line with their arms, shoulders, doing leg swings and whatever. You do your thing, we do ours. And one of the girls said to me, "Oh, why don't you like leg swings? You know, like look." She was like, "Oh, look at that, they're doing them. Why don't you like them?" Legit question. And I explained it to her. Basically, you're getting an increased range of motion throughout the hip joint and through the hamstring, but you're not keeping the stiffness in the hamstring. So imagine it being more loose, so put more force through it, it's easily pulled.
Yeah.
Right?
It's putting more range of motion than you could naturally do, because of the momentum of swings.
Yeah, but what it's not momentum of the swings per se, because we still do hamstring stretching.
Yeah.
But it's the dynamic stretching that leads to a decrease in stiffness while increasing range of motion.
Yeah.
You can increase range of motion while increasing stiffness or keeping it the same. It's fine.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
And so we want to keep that in there, all right? And so she was like, "Yo, why are you doing that?" And I said, basically, here's what we're looking at. Here's why this is the case. Blah blah blah. You're gonna get range of motion, stiffness, more chance of pulls. I didn't really go into too much of the physiology behind it. And then she's like, "Oh, cool, thanks for that." Like, no worries. We went off the park. Game started. Within 4 minutes of the third quarter starting, one of their players pulled a hamstring, like bad. And she looked at me, and I looked at her, and I was like, not a direct correlation, but it could be cause. You know, it could be part of what was happening as part of the program. But I was just like, it was like ironic at how, like, we just had that discussion, and then it happened like literally next to us. And I was like, "Was it a knee?" She goes, "No, I think it was a hamstring." I was like, "I'm pretty sure it looked like a knee." And then anyway, we got it confirmed it was a hamstring, and she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "That's Anyway. So that program was working. You know, I'm going through my process now of why. I'm going through a process now of why did I do certain things? Were they effective? I sent out a couple surveys last week to the players. One survey to the players, which was like, how do you rate my performance? What would you want me to improve on? What do you think was good that I should keep in? What should I eliminate from the program? From everything from preseason conditioning to in gym training and then in-season conditioning, the whole works. And I was like, I want you to be honest. I don't want you to be nice. Just tell me what you like, what you didn't like, so I can then improve myself for next year. Also send that to the coaches and admin staff as well, because there's two different dynamics there. Players might like this stuff, coaches might like this. I need to know how I'm going to work in, and that was off my own back. You know, that wasn't from club or anything. I was just like, I want to know to continually improve where I'm at. You know, I know what my thoughts are, my evaluation of what I did last year, or the last season that has gone. But let's continue moving forwards. Let's continue pushing that, and what things can I implement within the resourcing, within the budget, within the time constraints that we have available to us. So that was super positive. Like, I love that. Once again, like, when I thought, I was like, oh shit, I did the same with White City last year. I mean, didn't have any of that sort of stuff, you know. And so the elements of the program, going back to what you were saying, elements of the program were those things I eliminated, but that's just basic stuff in like in warm up or in like gameplay, sort of like game preparedness. What I have included into it was it has to be a gym component. You know, it has to be a gym component where we're focusing on things like eccentric loading of the calves, increasing hamstring strength, and hamstring strength there's a spectrum under that. So it's not just hamstring strength; it's, you know, hip extension, it's knee flexion, it's the different components of the hamstring, but also laterally as well. We do a lot of lateral work, which also ties into the lateral slings. you know, we do the upper body strength as well, but not a whole bunch, more stability work. So all those things have to be included for me to be able to be like, all right, cool, this is what I want to run as a program. So that was really interesting to see, and because I was like, I didn't know who's been injured and whatnot. We were such a big roster. Like, I know who's injured, but I don't know who misses games because of.
Yep. And
that's what I had to confirm with that.
Yep.
So next year there's a few things I can change or I can adapt to from what I've been seeing on servo so far. We've got another couple of days before I actually go through and be like, oh, here's all the results. I'll take them and adapt. So that was awesome. And then we've got Club Champion coming up in like next week or so, I think it is.
Club
2
Champion.
weeks. Club Champion, so like Night of Nights.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which I'm pretty excited about. Yeah.
A few beers that night.
Well, yeah. It's not going to be a big night. It's not going to be a huge night.
Yep.
I'm professional.
Of course,
right?
of
Professional.
Course. Of course.
I might have 1 or 2 beers at the club.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to that. First ever like AFL celebration evening. It's always been something.
Very nice.
So yeah, so that was probably the main thing that came through this week. What else was there?
Now, you had something on your board, which
Yep.
I'd like to bring up.
Yes.
And it was convenience
Oh!
versus, what was it?
Results.
Results.
Yeah. So when
Elaborate.
my board being at the gym, when I have like brain farts, I write them on the board sometimes, and then I take a photo of them and keep them on my phone. And when I don't take them off my phone, they're in my phone, so I can refer to you later. So, convenience versus results. This came up for me recently when I was talking to an athlete of mine, or former athlete of mine, who was going to come in the gym and train and get back into some training. You're the man, like, you got the strength stuff, we know what we're doing, you know me, blah, 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 blah. Let's do this. And I was like, sweet, no worries, let me know when you're ready. Then I get a message later saying, oh, I'm not going to go in, I'll go with someone else who I know through someone else. Closer, probably more convenient, I'm not going to be a burden on you, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, cool. Now, my thoughts on that were, okay, cool, well, what you seem to be opting for, regardless of the other person and what they're doing training-wise, whatnot, what you're opting for is a convenient model or convenient training option over what your results could be.
Yeah.
You know, knowing that, you know, the conversation was, you're the man, you know this shit, you got this stuff on, you know, I've obviously got the results and experience to back that up. Other one doesn't. And so from a mindset perspective, in order to achieve the results that you say you want, you're opting for a convenient option, which will not necessarily get you there.
Because it's easier, because it's time...
Closer or cheaper or time efficient.
This isn't just our industry.
No.
I mean, it's probably for a lot of industries around. Obviously, we're in the health, fitness, strength industry, AHP. So I know physios, massage guys be like, oh, yeah, you are a better physio, but my brother is one, my mate is one. I'm going to go see him instead. Yep. There's one just around the corner. Why would I go all the way out to Glenelg for one? Bit of a hit there for a good physio in Glenelg. So yeah, we see it a lot. And I guess we see it a lot in strength conditioning. We see it more there, obviously, because that's exactly where we're in. And it's hard to take, but you can't really do a lot about it other than put it out there that you need to do a bit more research. Need to look into more than just, is it convenience you're after, or is it a result that you're looking for? And who's going to give you that result the best? Who's going to provide that result for you the best?
I think it's a matter of self-awareness on part of the athlete or person.
Because it's not just convenience. Like if convenience is your thing, and normally it's time based and even money, is someone cheaper necessarily going to be cheaper in the long run?
Good one.
And is someone that's closer necessarily going to save you time in the long run? So it's a short time view. You like it?
Keep going. I love this. Yes.
So there might be a guy around the corner 5 minutes away, or there's a guy 45 minutes away. Potentially, the guy 5 minutes away could be fantastic and definitely go to him. If we're
that's
5
best
minutes
option.
away,
That's best option.
is the best option. But if the guy 45 minutes away is the better option, who knows more, and girl knows more things, has a better history, better results with proven results with clients, the guy that's 5 minutes away might cost you 3 years compared to a year and a half.
And you say you want results as the key. So is that what level of results you want? Is what?
If you're a budding athlete who wants to make it in the pros, you need to put some effort into this.
And you don't want to break
Convenience
down.
can't be your thing.
And that's why I like what you were saying then, is that what's going to save you time and what's going to save you money in the long run. Because in this instance, if you go to someone who doesn't have the experience or doesn't have the knowledge or whatever, but because they can, let's say from a professional perspective, I'm going to give you an analogy in a minute, but without that, with that, you're more likely to experience injury, which means you're more likely to lose game time, which potentially may mean you lose money, right?
Yeah.
So I know some players who are on $250, $300, $500 a week to play, right? In the sphere of what I'm doing. Obviously, you've got guys a lot more at NBL, right? And if they lose a game, they lose a match fee. You know, they might lose $500, and that could have been 3 or 4 sessions with someone who's got the results there. So all of a sudden, that one game is paid off for in what you've done beforehand. You know what I mean?
And we're not just tooting our own horns here. There's lots of good strength coaches in SA,
Absolutely. No,
in
absolutely.
Australia, whatever. So don't just go with us. Go with anyone who you believe is going to be the best fit for you, without the convenience always involved.
Which is why I was mentioning the self-awareness side of things.
Yeah.
You know, if you're saying you want results and you want to get to that next level, you've got to be like, all right, cool. Well, am I actually going to get that through this person? They might be nice. They might be a friend's brother. They might be whoever they may be. But are they able to actually take me there? Have they got the knowledge or the experience or understanding of this? Or am I just being sold on something?
Yeah.
It's the whole weight loss shake thing, which is the analogy, right?
Yeah.
Convenience. I can get a weight loss shake, and if I want to lose weight, I say, yeah, I want to lose weight. I get the weight loss shake, and I have that, but then I'm hungry, right? And in the long run, I'm going to overeat and then overfeed. Then I end up putting on the weight that I lost, which basically defeats the purpose. I've just wasted a whole bunch of money, and a whole bunch of time, and a whole bunch of delicious meals. You know what I mean? Workouts, right? So it's that kind of thing, and which is really interesting when I think about it. Like, this was obviously a very specific example of the convenience versus results side of things, but then I feel it comes back to us in order to educate, to be like, not just educate on, okay, we can do better, or we can do different, or we can provide you that pathway to get there. It's the education on being aware of what you actually say you want and what you actually want. Do your actions match your words? You know, and if you're like, oh, I just want to play around here, like I want to play local league, or I don't mind missing games because it's not really that big of a deal for me. No dramas.
Yep.
You know, go with what's going to fit your vibe level, where that is. And that can be with anything. I want to make a manager position, I want to be a boss, whatever. You're going to have to put the work in to get there before you get there. Like, you're not going to be able to be like, oh, I'm just going to sit around and just do my work and then just the base amount, and then someone's going to be like, you know what, you're a great manager, or you're a great boss.
Yep.
You know, you got to do that first. You got to put that investment in beforehand before you can reap the results.
Yep.
You know, so it's not convenient. You got to get outside that convenience bubble, and you got to find shit that's actually going to work for you, and then you can get the next step. Then you realize you can go through a season not injured. You can actually get your game fees. You can actually you can save your money on fucking physio or rehab, whatever it is, and actually do what you love doing. Whether that's sport or work.
Sport or work.
Convenience versus results. Yeah.
You mentioned physio, and that was another thing on your board, and I don't remember exactly what it was about.
It was about you.
It was about me.
It was about you, wasn't it? You did a little podcast.
With the physio?
No, with Danny.
I did a podcast with Danny this week.
Yeah.
So shout out to Danny Kennedy, online coach. We're going to get him on the show.
Yep.
I've
got it. Keep going.
We'll have a chat about what it's like to be an online coach in our industry.
Ooh, good one.
Strength conditioning online coach. And Danny's a successful one, so we might get him on and see what the difference is between... so someone like myself, I'm not a good online coach. And I'm the first to... So if you're after me for convenience online coaching, don't do it.
Don't go to Murph.
Don't do it. I'm not good at online coaching.
Self-awareness as well.
Exactly. Danny is a very good online coach, and that's definitely something we could push towards. But yeah, so Danny invited me on his show. We had a good chat about 36ers stuff, about study stuff, about just my experience and what I've been doing over the COVID time and what I'm doing now, what I'm getting up to. So it was good fun.
I've been listening to the podcast when you're not around.
Yeah.
So I have you in my ears. I just love it. It's like a comfort thing for me. So this is my comfort zone. Murph in my ears. Like that.
My dulcet tones.
Your dulcet tones.
Relaxing everything.
Yes.
Well, I did a course a fair while back now on not meditation. Hypnotherapy.
Hypnotherapy. I was saying mindfulness, yeah.
The instructor's like, you have a great voice to put people under.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know if that's a compliment or...
Don't listen to the podcast while driving.
Basically, from what I heard of you, your voice is really boring. It puts people to sleep. So I've been working on it. I'm trying to change my tones a little bit more. But yeah, another podcast is good fun. It's good to talk to someone different, get a feel of something else. And
no, I get it. I get it. No, the other one. No, it was physio.
yes,
That's right. We're talking about physio side of things, and we're talking about that wasn't on board. It was physio about what we've got happening in the studio and how sick that's going.
yes,
And how I'm loving it at the moment. You know,
Yes.
having Lauren in as part of like Mitise physio in the gym. The correlation between what we're doing in there with the rehab side of things and the gym work is working better than I thought it was going to be.
yeah.
I didn't know. Like, I mean, I'm not in that industry.
I think it's good that Lauren's been working with you for so long as well.
Absolutely. Yep.
So she's got a good idea on the full strength conditioning side of things, the exercise side of things, and the prescription of that.
And she's been out there herself, and still is.
Yeah.
You know,
So she's got a good understanding of the whole lot going on, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's sick. Like the integration is so cool. And so basically, it's what we wanted from the start. It's like if you have an injury, and this is what we're going to talk about as well. Is that you know not just letting it be I've got injury. I'm going to take a rest break. I'm going to take some time to recover. And then I'm just going to go back out to training as I normally would, or just slightly modified. It's actually getting it assessed and taking an active effort or an active approach to your injury.
One thing I
and recovery.
always preach to my athletes, luckily they don't get too many injuries, is if you do get an injury, the worst thing you can do is nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's been taught, and it's very old school. Oh, you got an injury, rest.
Yeah.
You know, elevate, ice. What's the rice?
Rice.
Rest, elevate, rest, ice, compression, elevate, rice. Cool. It's old school.
Things you don't even know if you don't get injured. No fucking hell.
It's very old school. I mean, yeah, you need ice in the first 24 hours and so on and so on, but the worst thing you can do is rest until it feels better because it actually hasn't done anything for the injury itself.
Correct.
Yes, the swelling's gone down. There might not be as much tightness or pain in there, but there's no more. You haven't prepared it to go back on the court, on the field, do whatever you got to do and perform again. Movement is a great tool for rehabilitation, for getting past that injury.
Within pain-free ranges, obviously.
Exactly right. So smart movement. Obviously not going to go back into jumping straight away, but getting him back into just range of motion first, then through the process of getting him back ready for on-court or performance. I keep saying on-court, but
you do.
It's performance.
It could be court. It could be good.
Could be court.
Another court now. I feel like the overarching thing what we're talking about today is taking an active interest in your life and situations.
Don't put everything in someone else's hands.
Yeah.
Still be a part of it yourself.
Yeah, and being active in, your convenience versus recovery, right? Or convenience versus results. It's like you're being active in, this is what I want to do, so I'm going to actively take these steps to do it.
Yep.
You know, you're getting an injury, you're being actively involved in, all right, cool, well, I've got this strain here. Doesn't, just because I've got leg issue or I've got an upper body issue, doesn't mean I can't do the reverse. If I've got a leg issue, I can do upper body and core.
Yep.
Exactly what I did last night with one of my clients. You know, he messaged me, he's like, do something to my leg, can we do upper body and core tonight? Absolutely. You can change it up and do it. That's not a problem. You can still keep training.
Do you use quick interrupt. Do you use a cross-transfer effect at all? Like using, if they got a left leg, you do the right leg more to improve the left leg?
A little bit, not heaps, because generally what we're seeing is niggles that come up, so it's not like long term.
Yep.
If it was long term, then definitely.
Also,
but that's what Lauren's there as well. You know, Mitise physio, she does her thing there, and then we can work through. Okay, what can so and so do when we do it, and then we can work on that, especially if they're confident.
Yep.
You know, but touch wood. We haven't had any of that stuff for a long time.
Yeah, that's wood, but
you know what? It's wood looking, so it'll do. So that's that's basically what I think with the injury is that you can actually work around it. You know, you don't just need to rest. You need to be moving. And what I was talking about with one of my guys the other day was that, you know, not just training around it, as in for the physical side of things, but the hormonal response when you train is a positive. You know, so if you're doing upper body and getting a hormonal increase, a positive hormonal increase from testosterone, progesterone, whatever's happening at that time, that flows throughout the body. And you get that sequence of motion as well that actually aids in recovery. So, you know, it's about being active and being smart with it as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's the ripper episode.
I think we got it out. We got some shit.
We've done well.
Out. All right. Well, until next time. Hope you enjoyed that one. We'll be back very shortly with another episode of the Murph and Mitise Show.